Greetings. Today is May the 19th, 2018. I'm in Hahira, Georgia at the Webb Miller Community Church here for an event by the Mary Turner Project and the local citizens in this community. Once again, this is to get to Free Press, and whether any other news media networks are here or not, we are here because we want you informed. So come on inside, let's do what we do. And this is not only for the South Georgia area, but this is information that's good for the world. Peace be unto you. Now let's get down to it.
But we test with them, and sometimes be out there until midnight in the middle of a freaking eggplant field.
Yes.
Testing and,
Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
The song that I'm going to do this morning is Past Midnight, O Gentle Savior, hear my humble cry. While on others thine art calling, do not pass me by. Now, like, for those of you that know the words of this song, to sing along with me. Pass me not, O gentle Savior, oh, hear my humble cry. Oh, while on earth thine art called, oh, do
gratitude to Mr. Mark George, who arranged for this and who has been a part of this ever since the beginning and got so many people involved in it, along with Mr. Rogers and others. We certainly want to thank the families of Mary Turner and all the other people who were lynched in 1918. You got it? I got it. Listen, are we going to eat before we walk? Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure about that. Thank you all so very much for allowing me to be a small participant in this program. I told Mark I didn't have to say anything, but I was going to be here because I always come and I always appreciate this family and for the contributions that they've made to this community. Janine is back there too. She came all the way from Memphis, and glad to see her here today. God bless you, and others who are here. Let me just say welcome, as I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do. Welcome to everybody that's here. And I just have one other small thing to say that has nothing to do with this program particularly, but we appreciate the people who came from Serenity Church. And by the way, Paul Ransom is here, and Paul came to Serenity 2-3 years ago, I believe, and he has been responsible for redoing the African American Museum that's at our church, and he has done a great job. And he also does the Moment in Black History every Sunday morning, and he's going to do it in the morning at 9 o'clock about Mary Turner. And those of you who are free, we want you to stop by Serenity. We shall have service from 9, and I'm going to preach, so we're going to be out of there at 10:30. And if you need somewhere else to go, you'll have time to go. Tomorrow is also the day that we have fellowship with the white church at First Unitarian Church. They come over to our church at 9 o'clock, and we go over to their church at 11 o'clock. And we then bring food together and have a little fellowship. Thank you all so very much. And if you're free, come and see us in the morning. Thank you.
Mr. Hall makes me cry every time I hear him sing. A little jet lagged, so y'all forgive me. I've been gone 4 years. And some of the people I love aren't here because they're gone. The people in this room have taught me how to be a human. I'm so blessed to have had so many great human beings in my life who loved me and taught me when they didn't have to. And some of those people are here today, and some of them aren't. And some people I love in this room have had a hard 40 years. So my homecoming is a little bittersweet, so I'll just ask you to bear with me. I'm always asked, especially my white brothers and sisters, why we do this. And I think our ancestors live in us. They, scientifically speaking, they do because we have their DNA. And I think they do spiritually as well. And I guess one of the things I just wanted to ask us all to think about today is, what is our legacy going to be? And who do we want to be, and who do we want to be remembered as? And the people in this room have taught me how to live and be in a way where not to be silent about what has happened and what continues to happen in more subtle ways. And I thank them for that. Mary Turner was, my grandmother was 18 years old when Mary Turner was slaughtered, and those other people were slaughtered. And I often wondered what she was thinking, whether my grandfather was there, because they were not the most racially progressive people on the planet. So we're not talking about a very long time ago. My grandmother lived to be 80 and died in 1980. And I think about them all the time. What were they doing and thinking and feeling when this was going on? I think also as someone that's from this community, our silence around this speaks volumes to the value we put on Black lives. And the fact that we want to keep hiding this history instead of telling the truth about it is a commentary on that. So I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry for being emotional. I also wanted to just acknowledge the people in this room today who came from across the country. We have people from California, we have people from New York, and I've always thought that when we put these things together, this is a sacred moment, a sacred time. I also wanted to thank Mr. John Rogers, this fellow right here that never says anything. None of this could ever happen if he wasn't who he is. So thank you for coming. And I just ask that we remember these people and that we leave a legacy that doesn't allow them to be disappeared. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Randy McLean. I'm the great nephew of Mary Turner, a.k.a. Hattie Graham. In driving from Atlanta, I kept asking myself, what would I say? And I couldn't think of anything to say. And my fiance, a few minutes ago, asked me, did you pray about it? And I began to pray, and it was revealed at the time when Mark stood up. And it's been a few years since we have celebrated the Mary Turner lynching. And the combination of things that are happening in our nation is the reason why we celebrate. When I think about my great-grandfather, Perry J. Graham, who was the sibling of Hattie Graham, my cousins would tell me a story that he actually raised those cousins and how he would just sob when he talked about the story of his sister being lynched. Rumor had it that they lynched Aunt Hattie because she had stolen a watch. Rumor had it that they lynched Aunt Hattie because she had stolen a watch. Rumor had it that they lynched Aunt Hattie because she had stolen a watch. but that is a story that was created to justify the behaviors of men and women who are filled with hatred. So Mark, John, your work is not in vain. I think the things that settles in my heart as a family member is that we come and celebrate, but the work to be done is the work when we leave here. We must create our voices. We must be heard. The racial injustice is very prevalent in today's society. Aunt Mary's father was born a slave in 1863. He was married to Betsy Graham, and 4 children were born: Pearlie Graham, Hattie Graham, my great-grandfather, Perry J. Graham, and Otha B. Graham. Hattie bore 2 children before marriage, Lord Smith and our cousin Leicester Graham. The thing that is most disturbing in the incident of the lynchings is that the question that I asked coming from Atlanta is that who could be so cold and heartless and gruesome to murder someone for speaking up for justice and get up the very next day and attend somebody's church and feel justified in what they did. And it wasn't until the Mary Turner Project really picked up the pieces to move this forward, to have a voice, to take action in the community, to help to fight for racial justice. We have a long way to go. The NAACP used the Mary Turner lynching in their anti-lynching campaigns in the 20s and the 30s. Congressman Dyer introduced an anti-lynching bill into the House of Representatives, which was passed overwhelmingly, but failed in the Senate and never became a vote because of filibuster. Very familiar political terms, very familiar political reality in our nation today. So the question is, what do we do today to make a difference so that Aunt Hattie's life was not taken in vain? She stood for what she believed in, and she fought for what she believed in. She was killed for what she believed in. The other thing that comes to mind is, out of all of the memorials, the very state in which the murder and lynchings occurred, very few memorials, if any at all. I was just recently informed about the monument in Montgomery Museum, at the Great Black Whites Museum in Baltimore. Also, I had family members from Jersey just to attend a play, its second run, A Small Oak Tree Runs Red, in New York City at the Billie Holiday Theater. So where are our voices in Georgia? Georgia needs to raise up, and it's bigger than Mary Turner, but all of the lives that were taken. I also have a great uncle, Will Head, in that same lynching period. So my message to the community, and Mark, I want you to know that you are a godsend. The family loves you because you've done more than a lot of our own family members have done to help to just tell the story, but to make it relevant to our lives today. So my prayer is that when we leave today, that we tell the story, not only tell the story, but we take action and we move forward and we stand for what we believe in. Thank you all for attending.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is John Rogers, and I do not like doing this. Honestly, I'm always the one that takes pictures and sets up the food and does all the other stuff, and Mark twisted my arm, but you know, this one does. I have never done it. Yeah, I always stay behind the camera so I don't have to do this. So, I don't ever like, I talk a lot at work and the things I do, I don't like to, I always feel out of place and quite honestly, as a white man, as a white Southern man, in these kind of situations, not out of place. I know my history, I know our history, I know all these other things, but it is still kind of jarring for me to think about standing up here and speaking to people that have very different experiences than I do. And Mark asked me to talk about something he actually wrote about that both of us participated in. I'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the other things is we talked about acknowledgments earlier is I think about all the people that have come and helped with the Mary Turner Project, the family members, the students from BSU, so many of those got involved, so many other community members that couldn't be here today, so many people that were here and moved away. I mean, this is a very big town that people transition in and out of. There's a lot of people that come here and leave. I'm one of them. I came here in 1998, but there's a lot of people that I think have been involved in various ways with this project, and it's taken a lot of energy to get these things happen. It's been kind of amazing. People come in and do what they can, and then they step out. They do what they can and step out, and it's made all this happen. It's not just been Mark. It's not just been me. It's not been any of us. It's been a big effort. People that one of these days we need to figure out how to capture some of that. I think of the people, and we've lost a lot of people, and we've lost a lot of people from this community, from this church, from our group that we take each other for granted. And I think it's like, oh, they'll be there. They're not always there later. And that's one of the harsh things for me, Mark, somewhat lately, kind of get busy with your life and then come back to this, and people are gone that really worked hard to help with these things. So one of the things I want to talk about real quickly is something that around the actual marker. What year was it that we did that? 2010, 12? Yeah, I know, right? It's been so long ago. Well, one of the things is I moved here from North Carolina. I grew up in this area as a kid and moved away, and then not on my own, but my parents moved this way, and I came back in '98. And one of the first things, I think I was here for about 3 months and met Reverend Rose back in the day when the tribunal was just getting started, and there was a lot going on. But as soon as I got plugged into the community outside of my white community here, I started, when people felt comfortable, people started talking about Mary Turner. And it was one of those things that I had been hearing literally after the first 3 to 4 months I got here, because people trusted me a little bit and told me a little bit about it. And it was like, I've been hearing it for years, this story of Mary Turner after that. And I think it was at some point then when Chris Myers at BSU finally wrote an article, it kind of really took on some more urgency in the sense of my mind, Mark's mind, other people's minds of this was horrible. We need to acknowledge, how do we acknowledge this? How do we live in a place that this has happened and not acknowledge it? So one of the things that sticks with me outside of just all that coming together and all that work with folks to get to the point, to get the marker approved, get it bought, was the installation of the marker. And Mark has written about this recently in an article that I posted on the Facebook page, if y'all can read it. I mean, he's going to be a lot more eloquent than I am about this. But one of the things that sticks to me this day was, and Mr. Nate Wright back here was one of the main people. Stand up, Nate. I want everybody to see you too, because you were a main part of all this too. There was this point where, one of the things we realized, kind of a funny story in all this was, you say, okay, we want a historical marker, we petition, you get it, and they ship it to you. They don't put it in, they ship it to you. And we were like, okay, we got this marker in Mark's, garage. What do we do with it? How do we mount this? I mean, they don't put it in for you. You've got to put it in, right? So we went around and around, and it's like, how do you put this marker in? It's this incredible thing we've done, but it's sitting in a garage in a crate that came off the back of a truck, and you're trying to figure out how to put this thing in the ground and where to put it and how you're going to put it in. They don't give you any engineering help. They don't send the cement truck out or anything, right? So, so Mark and I and Nate and another gentleman that kind of Robert Jenkins, I think was his name. I apologize if that's not his name, but we came up with the concept of, we had, 2,000 pounds of concrete, 1,200 pounds of bagged concrete. But we met out there one day, decided we dug the hole, and we met, and we took my truck, and I still have a little bit of concrete on the back tailgate of my truck from that. I actually really, and it's going to be hard to part with that truck at one day because of that, because that means something to me. But we mixed concrete by hand. There were two men of color and me and Mark down by the river. It's not in the location absolutely of where this happened. It was, that the roads weren't there, so there's not a real good clear sight. But this is the best place that we could come up with to mark it. But we were out there on a hot summer day in the afternoon after work, and we met out there, and we had bags of concrete, this giant marker, and a cage that we'd come up with to put this in the ground. And we sat out there and dug by hand that hole and poured, using river water. We'd go down to the river because it had flooded, and we were getting 5-gallon buckets of water and mixing concrete. And it had little mosquito larvae and everything else in it. And I just remember, it's like, this is river water. This is water, that is from this place. And we used the concrete, and we mixed it, and we poured it, and we set it, and we spent hours out there getting that thing set up. But the time that we spent together as very similar but different folks from this place, different experiences growing up, really stuck with me. And I talked to Nate. We ran into each other after a number of years at Lowe's. He jumped out of the car and said, "Hey, John," and we talked about this. And I told him, and me and Mark talked about this, that there's these experiences, and coming together here. Mark talked about being a sacred thing. This is sacred here, but it was sacred at that moment. It's been sacred in these conversations I've been allowed to have with some of the family members and other people here about being able to cross those lines that most of us don't get across. And I'm incredibly grateful for those moments. You can't buy them. You can't really. I can tell you about them, but those moments where you can transcend some of this stuff, or this minutiae in life and these other things for a moment to make really human contact with another person, can be very different than you, and very different experiences. So I would say that this project not only, in the work that we've done, not only has made Mary Turner and this whole thing come alive and helped to talk about how this happens and how this happened in our community, it also, for us that worked on it, I wouldn't get back a moment. I wouldn't get back a second of my time that I put in. I don't think anybody would. But it's not just the marker, it's these experiences of getting to these places that we're at. And I would just like to thank, there's so many people to thank that at some point I would really like to try to come up, and we never did that, but come up with a list of the people that helped in so many ways and got us where we're at. So, but I would like to acknowledge a lot of people that we've lost, and a lot of people that, have been there and helped me process some of this information, and the people that have shared this story to start with me. I do think it's been a number. I've been here 20 years, and I've learned so much by living here because people allowed themselves, people opened up and taught me things, as Mark said earlier, and were real with me. And that's a very rare thing to happen in this world, and it's incredibly important is the days that we currently live in. So thank you for letting me share that.
My name is George Rhymes, and I help to Get to Free Press, which is a social media outlet. And little did I know, many years ago, when I would come here and record these programs, I did not know that we would have the outreach across the world. If you go to Boston G.B.R, you'll see some of the videos I've done have 30,000 views. And I had no idea that that was happening. And so sometimes we think that this is just a local thing, but it's not. I met Mark George when I had a store, and he came down and he really mesmerized my mind. And you may say, well, why did you say that? Because he was a white person that thought outside of the box of incarceration and indoctrination. So he just really broadened my mind. And they had something called Project Change. And then the next thing I know, between him and Ari Sanders, at some events, I would be speaking at some of the classes at the university. Never dreamed that that would happen. And so I believe that Dr. Mark George, and I'm going to say this too, I'm about to cry now, George, get locked up. Because when you stand up like this, your job is in jeopardy. And I personally know that Mark George has paid a price for embracing black folk. When black folk want to embrace themselves. So I'm going to take my seat before I tear up. But the bottom line is, let us go beyond even this event. Let us vote. And not just vote, but vote for the right person. And if you can't find the right person running, then you run.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm the co-executive director of Black Women's Blueprint, and we just journeyed from Brooklyn, New York last night, and we're so humbled to be in the space with you all. I'm here with the co-founders of Black Women's Blueprint. We're a national Black women's organization, and we have a memorial for lynching victims, and so we are here and just deep meditation and prayer to honor Mary Turner's story, to honor the family members of those who have lost family to the violence of white supremacy. We're here to denounce that. We're here in deep prayer and meditation with you all, and just so humbled to be in the space, to be in sanctuary, to caravan and to move with you. And we're so excited to announce that we are building a memorial for Mary Turner in our space in Brooklyn, Crown Heights, New York. And so we invite your stories, we invite your prayers, your song, your ritual to come back with us. And we can't wait to build more with you all and to continue to lift up and amplify the stories. So thank you so much for just having us in the space. And we look forward to connecting with you all later today.
I'm doing this for my grandma. I heard the story. This is supposed to be my great, I don't know how many greats, but my auntie. I'm maternal. We from Florida, Palm Beach County. We now stay in Valdosta, Georgia. My grandma's name is Willie Turner. I don't know the history, how far I go, you know. My little cousin, he you know. But this is my auntie. So I don't know, I guess it's the family up here. How y'all doing, family? How everybody else doing? I heard the story, what happened to, I guess it's my auntie too. My auntie, it's kind of crazy. I don't really know, you know, the details about, you know, what happened, but I'm pretty sure I'll find out. I'm 31 years old, so, you know, I'm young to this story. But as my grandma, she 74, she got the news article and she was telling us that this was, you know, her auntie and our uncle, you know, however that goes, in the hanging. The people who did it, I don't feel no type of way, you know, about it, because, you know, it wasn't us, it was our ancestors, or however y'all want to say it. But it starts with us, you know, and when I first heard it, you know, I was upset. I wish I could go back in time and all this and all that, but you know, that wouldn't have made no difference. And you know, I just hope we do better as individuals, because it starts within ourselves. And I want to get to know my family, so y'all make sure y'all tell me something. And it's nice seeing everybody here. And thank y'all.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Paul Ransom. I'm the historian at Serenity Church in Valdosta. And every May, I do a story on the history of the mention of Mary Turner family, not just Mary Turner, her husband Hayes Turner, and the unborn child, who all missed that day. And many other people that were not even involved, just people that were just indiscriminately lynched that day. Now, the information that I have, I don't know how accurate, because I got it from the computer. So I would like one family member to help me out with the history story when I report the story of Mary Turner in May. And those of you who can be at Serenity tomorrow at our 9 o'clock service in our moment in Black History, I'm going to do a presentation on the history of the Mary Turner lynching. I'm asking the family, if you would, to listen to what I have, and if it's inaccurate in any way, or if there's anything that should be told that I do not have, I would like that you would fill me in on that information. So for the future, when I pass out the information, it can be accurate. Thank you so very much.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Audrey Grant Turner. I am the great-granddaughter of Mary Turner. But first of all, I want to give honor to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Because that's what has kept all of us where we are today. And I am so thankful that I was raised to give honor to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Because I'm going to tell you, that leads you a long way. And I'm not going to stand here long, because sometimes my children say, Mom, you talk too much. So I'm going to kind of cut it down, but I just want to do a quick reflection. And I want to not thank, but honor everyone that has had a part in this. And I certainly want to honor everyone that's on this program here. First of all, Mr. Robert Hall. Now you got this started, Mr. Hall. You got everybody in here crying, and everybody can't stop. We're going to cry through the whole ceremony. But we love it, and we appreciate it every year that you do it. And we thank God, and we pray that you are here every year with us to do it. And our next person I want to honor is Reverend Rose. Reverend Rose, love you. I know we don't talk much. I see you at these events. I see you on TV sometimes. I read about you in the paper, so you're always there. And I thank God for you. And then we have my dear friend, Mr. Mark George. You touch my heart. You always do. And I told you that when we went to dinner the other day. Mr. George and myself and my mother, we had a wonderful dinner the other day. And neither one of us ate our food. We sat there and we talked through the whole thing and talked about everything. And Mr. George was telling me about some of the things Mr. Rogers mentioned today about how they put the grave, the tombstone up and all, and the marking. And they got the water from the river to mix this stuff up with to put it in there. So I mean, that was hard work. I don't do a lot of hard work, but I know what hard work is because my husband does a lot of hard work. He has to do it by himself. And so sometimes, just to keep him company, I go out there and stand up and just stand there and talk to him while he's working. And sometimes he'll ask me to pass him something. Then he said, never mind, I'll get it. So I'm not a really hard worker. And I've been that way all my life. When we were working in the fields, sometimes my daddy used to tell me, go sit in the truck. Because you ain't going to do nothing. So I knew about that, you know. And my granddaddy used to tell me, he said, you better get you an education because you ain't going to do nothing. Well, I just got an education, and I'm over 50, so I just graduated with a master's in criminal justice. Because my job is making sure that mentally challenged people have a place to live, food to eat, and giving them learning abilities so that they can live independently on their own. That's my passion. So I may not never do anything in the justice system, but I did do what my granddaddy told me to do. I don't know a whole lot about the story because I was older when I found out about everything. We would ask our grandmother different things, and she would just say, hold her head down, and she'd say, well, they said the white folks killed my mom. And she wouldn't talk about it anymore. And we was raised in a community in Brooks County where we had white people around us, family members. Even we had one guy that his parents would put him out, and I'm not going to call no names because some of you probably may know it, but his parents would put him out because of his behavior, and he would come to our house, and grandmama would put him up a pallet in the living room to sleep until he could go back home. And he could drink there, but he had to drink on the outside and sit on the porch. And I know my sister knows who I'm talking about, but don't you call his name either. But, so that's the way we got along right there in that community. So I didn't really know a whole lot about what had happened. But I remember one day he came up to the house and he had been drinking, and he stopped by my grandmother's rose bush, and he cut him off some roses, and he walked up. And we had seen him do it, and he said, "Happy Mother's Day, Mama." And I'm looking at him like, you just went out there and got those roses off. And my grandmama just hugged him. "Oh, thank you so much. That was so sweet of you, son." And I'm like, I can't wait till he leaves so I can tell him that them your roses. But she knew it too, you know. So I'm just honored to be raised by people like my mother, my grandmother and grandfather, and my father. I'm just privileged and I'm blessed to be raised. And actually, my grandmother was raised by Miss Godfrey, which was her sister, her mother's sister, which was Miss Cheryl's great-grandmother, too. So a lot of us are family here. Mr. Randy McLean, I just want to thank you for all the information that you've given me that I didn't know. Mr. John Rogers, we know that you don't like to be in the light, but you are. So we appreciate you. We appreciate all of my family members that came out with me today, my husband, my daughter, my mother, my sister, and my baby daughter over there. That gets mad when everybody tries to take her place in the family. She thinks she's the baby, but then we got another one come up, so she's really not. She don't like that part. But I just want to say thank y'all. Thank everybody for being here. I want to thank my prayer partner back there in the back that don't like to be in the limelight, Miss Walker. You have been amazing to me. She connected me to a prayer line, and we get on about twice a week, and we just pray over the phone. We never seen each other's faces. We don't know who's going to be there. But I'm going to tell you, you're talking about uplifting. This project and this situation has really enhanced my spiritual life. And I thank God for that. Because I believe that's why I'm still here. Because we have some work to do. And Randy, I am so glad that you brought that out. Because we as a family have a lot of work to do. These gentlemen has been working spiritually, physically, and mentally. And it would be wrong of the family if we didn't step in and help. We got to do something about this situation, and we got to keep it going. We thank you for the database that you created about this slavery and the lynchings in the U.S., not just Georgia, but in the U.S. And so that alone is enough to make us come together. And I think with the help of Almighty God, His Son, and the Holy Spirit, we can get through this together. And this project, the next time, we won't just have a half of a room full of people. We want to have it bursted over we don't have to try to move this place and get a bigger place. If we were having a party, everybody would be here. But we're going to change this. And I am praying and I'm asking each of you. And I thank the Black Women's Blueprint for being here and everybody else that has came out today. I thank you, my cousin Randy, for bringing your lovely fiance today. And I get a chance to meet her. And congratulations on your wedding. And if I've missed anybody, I apologize because a lot of people, I don't know their names, but I am just so glad you're here. And I want us all to work together. Y'all have a good day.
I just want to introduce you to Reverend Michael Bryant. He's going to bless the food before we go eat. I also want to, he's the pastor here at Whiipple-Lue Community Church. They step up every year. We ask them and grace us with allowing us to be here today. Their family is, that's why I was emotional earlier. It's through so much since I've been gone. But they stepped up once again when they didn't have to. So I love y'all. I miss y'all. So thank you for that. And Michael, bless the food will go.
I said I wasn't going to preach, but I got the microphone. That's what Michael Jackson said. Hey, whoever got the microphone is in charge. Hey, but I thank you for the opportunity of being available. And I want you to know that, like the blood of Abel that cried out from the ground when he was murdered by his brother, the blood of Mary Turner and her baby, and all those that were killed during the reign of terror, their blood continues to cry out. 100 years later, the blood still speaks. And I thank Mark George for hearing it. Those that were associated have been associated with this project. This thing is not over. It will continue to speak generations from now. And I know that Mark's got a book somewhere in it. Information is power. Jesus says you shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And just to let you know that this place that you're sitting in used to be a cafeteria lunchroom. I went to school here, matriculated through the 7th grade while I went to high school. We were able, by the grace of God, to get this building and nearly 5 acres of property. But the beauty of it is that community people in the early 50s came together because they wanted a school for black kids, which had not been made available to them. And so they got together with the school board, and they said, if you get the land, we'll build a school. My Aunt Samantha and some other people, and white gentleman by the name of Webb, and a black gentleman by the name of Miller, made the property available. They purchased a part of it, and the other part was donated. And this building exists. It was in use for only 16 years. In 1970, it was closed. It was demolished. Over 1,000 windows were broken. Holes were knocked in the ceiling. And when we began as a church of the Nazarene, some of the men who had been hired to demolish the building came and sat down and talked with us. They sobbed and cried. Said, we are so sorry that we are part of destroying something so beautiful. And then they related the stories of how the superintendent came in this lunchroom and said to the black parents, before a white child is bused to go to school here, a snowball of freezing hell. That man died of a massive heart attack. And so we are here, and our vision is to return this place to its former glory. So it'll always be open for the Mary Turner family in the project. We've got over half a building that needs to be redone, and so forth. So you pray for us that God will give us the grace and the favor to make it happen. I know that it's already done in the heavens. We just got to bring it into reality. Amen? Amen. And so we thank you for giving us the opportunity to participate in this project. We thank you to the Mary Turner family and for the rich history that is involved here. Who would have ever thought that such a tragedy would, after 100 years, still bringing people together? And so the blood continues to speak. 31-year-old young man that came said, I don't know the story, but he's going to learn it. And it's through kids like that, and young men like that, and those that are yet being born and unborn, that the story is going to go forward. And it's going to make a tremendous difference, because somebody heard the cry of the blood. They gave Dr. King a Nobel Peace Prize. And he says, I can't stay up here on the mountain, because the valley is crying out to me, it's calling. And I must go down and answer the call. And he did, and was willing to pay the cost. And he looked over and he saw the promised land. And he said, I may not get there with you, but I want you to know that we as a people will get to God's promised land. So I'm not worried about anything. And I'm not fearing any man. Longevity has its place. I'd like to live a long time, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go to the mountaintop and to look over into the promised land. People that are gathered. We thank you, Lord, for this season in which we're living. This is the greatest time to live in the greatest nation on the face of the earth. And although that we are facing things from the president and from the Congress, things that are twisted, that carry forward the evil that's in the hearts of men. But Edmund Burke said, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. We thank you that we've heard the clarion call, and we're going to do something while it is yet day. God, we thank you and we praise you for being available to you in this great work. Continue to watch over us, bless us, and keep us, I pray. Show us your favor. May it surround us, oh God, as a shield, that as we go forward, we will accomplish great things for your glory and for your honor. Now bless this food that we're about to receive. That'll be nourishment, oh God, for our bodies and strength to do your work. Continue what you're doing because you're God. You see more of the picture than we do. You plug us in where we need to be, that we will become a part of this mosaic, this picture that will define the future that we're moving into. We know that we exist in time, but you are eternal. Everything is the same to you. We live in the presence of your path. So use us to your glory and to your honor. And for all that you do in and through each of us, we'll give you glory, praise, and honor. We ask it in the majestic name of your Son, Jesus. And all God's people said, amen.
So we're going to eat the cafeterias kind of around the corner, and after that we will caravan out to the side.
No, sir. Leave it all over. No, sir. Leave it all over.
And the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Down through the years, I know the Lord's been good to me. Oh, down through the years, I know the Lord's been good to me. Oh, I know the Lord, yeah. I know the Lord been good to me. Oh, I know, I'm saying down through the years, I know the Lord been good to me. Oh, down through the years, I know the Lord been good to me. Oh, down, yeah, I know the Lord, yeah, I know the Lord been good to me. Well, I know He's been my friend, yeah. I know the Lord's been good to me. Oh, He's been my friend. Oh, I know the Lord's been good to me. Oh, He's been my friend, yeah. I know the Lord been good to me. I know the Lord been good to me. Oh, I know, I say down through the years, I know the Lord's been good to me. Oh, down through the years, I know the Lord's been good to me. Oh, down through the years, oh, I know the Lord's been good to me. I know the Lord been good to me.
You gonna ring the bell? I got it. Reading of the names: Leo Head, Will Thompson, Julius Jones, Paige Turner, Mary Turner, the unborn Turner child, Eugene Rice, 3 unidentified people: Time Riley, Simon Schumann, Sidney Johnson.
If anybody wants to say something, if you please take a chance to, just keep in mind that it's pretty warm. I wonder if it was this kind of day 100 years ago. That's kind of where my mind is right now. But I would like to say thank you for everything and all the things that folks have done to make this day possible. I don't want to shut it down, but I also know we have elders from the crowd. Yeah. So if anybody wants to say something briefly, I think that's okay.
Who you calling an elder?
Anyway, and also if you're traveling, God bless you and safe travels. We love you. And please stay in touch with us. This ain't over.
My story might be a little longer. You can't be swiping. He's still. He's got to go.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We have water.
Drive safely.
Grab some water if you want some. Please stay hang out.
Come on there, young man. Well, we are delighted to be here and to be a part of this, and I always have to give Mark George credit because he put all of this together, and we don't ever want to forget that. And we look forward to seeing these people tomorrow at Serenity and to hear more about Mary Turner and what happened to her. And we're just delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My mama's really genuine. I come from Carter's and Folsom's and George's, so I got a zillion cousins. We might be related if we go way up the tree. I'm out of the
This is the Get To Free Press, and we report what others ignore. This is your First Amendment right to know without whiteouts from a controlled news media whiteout network. And we are located in Valdosta, Georgia, and we are here to inform, educate, and persuade if necessary. Always keep that in mind. Moreover, I want to say to you that as a community, state, nation, and world, we are not who we claim to be, but who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. And if we are a liar, time will tell. And if we are a racist or a hater, time will tell. And our righteous and holy God already know. So you are only fooling yourselves. Again, the Ghetto Free Press. I'm George Foster Rice.